Hello and welcome everybody to the Sunday NewsCast with IGM.
I guess we're not calling it the IGM Indie. You know what? I should just change the title again. We're not doing the Indie Podcast. Nobody wants to call it that.
We should have a contest to name our podcast.
We totally should, yeah. You're hearing voices? Oh no, Savvy! Oh no!
Oh snap!
Problem.
Anyway,
Oh Lord.
my name is Nick. I am a writer for IGM. I think we should probably all introduce ourselves. Who else is in the call with me?
Yeah, that's fine.
I am Bonnie.
Go ahead, Bonnie.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, me. It's me. It's all about me. My name is Bonnie. I'm a writer for IGM. I'm also a streamer. I do stream on Hitbox under the name SqueakyB, and I'm also in chat as SqueakyB.
Shameless plug.
Yep.
And I am
Have you
Vinny
been-
Parisi. I am the editor-in-chief of IGM, and I'm running the Indie Game Magazine part of chat. So that's me if you see it.
Ooh, Mr. Official. So, pretty much what we're doing on our Sunday streams here is we like to talk about the news that we found interesting over the week, and then we're going to look at some cool Kickstarters and that kind of stuff, get you revved up and see what's going on in the world of indie gaming.
Yes, news and previews, because that's how we like it.
That's how we like it. I kind of introduced myself. I'm Nick. I'm a writer for IGM. I also stream under the name Average Gamer on Hitbox, which is my name in the chat.
All them shameless plugs. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Except for, not.
I'm Ginger. I'm never ashamed of myself.
This is true. This is a ginger thing, apparently.
Yeah.
Neither am I. I just,
Well, this is what I
Zero
signed up
caps.
for.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you made this. You made this, Vinny.
You made me
Take
this
full-
way.
So,
Take full responsibility.
the last time we had a newscast, we did a game. We showed a game called Flying Hamster 2. You were there, Bonnie.
I was.
Yeah, you remember that game.
Irrelevant.
I
So,
was doing fun things at PAX.
yeah.
I hate you,
screw
Vinny. Shut up.
Yeah. No one cares, Vinny.
Fine.
Some interesting news, though. Just this week, they actually canceled the Kickstarter for Flying Hamster 2. Which,
Ooh.
yeah, right?
Oh no, or is it oh no?
Or is it oh no? Because they did have, I remember making this comment too. They were expecting to they needed 150 grand to make their Kickstarter goal. However, they did not get the push that they were really needing. And so the studio canceled the Kickstarter early so that they could actually start developing the game right now. So that's kind of cool. It's going to be coming out a little bit sooner. It probably won't be as cheap as it would have been if it had the Kickstarter. But yeah, something to look forward to.
What is the general idea of this game called Flying Hamster 2?
Oh man, do you want to cover that one, Bonnie?
I'm sorry. No, I can't because I'm trying. Memories. I'm sorry. Just go.
So, Flying Hamster 2 is it's like an open world Ghouls and Goblins where you play as a hamster, but you've eaten this golden seed, which I think transforms you into a pig, and you're adorable, and it's like, as you go around, you get new level ups, you get different forms, different exploration, there's bosses, different abilities, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool looking. Besides the fact that it looks like it's, like, the ridiculously... If everything cute was put into a blended blender and then the puree was drank by a unicorn, is how cute this game is. That's about as good as I could describe it.
Alright.
So it's
I think that makes sense.
unicorn poop, basically.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay.
And this is a direct sequel to another game? Or what
Can we
happened with the first
show
one?
it
Yeah,
on the stream because we still
Sure.
have a static image?
Yeah,
Get on your game, Nick. Come on, you're
It's
the
right
one
here.
doing this.
so this is one of the frogs, at least from... Here, we'll go to the actual Kickstarter. But it's a direct sequel to Flying Hamster 1, which was an iOS game as well as on the Vita. and the PSP, I think.
With a gripping narrative, I imagine.
Oh, quite. It actually did. It had a bit of a story trying to find this golden seed thingy. They don't have the video up here anymore.
Yeah, it was really cute, and actually, I think Jen was the one who didn't Jen like swoop in and like get one of the Kickstarter goals like at the last second.
Yeah, yeah, she did.
While we were podcasting, she's like, "Yeah, nobody saw that. I'm just gonna sneak in here and get one of these goals," which is unfortunate because now it's not gonna happen. But at the same time, I'm glad that they're getting.
I'm glad the game is still coming out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so glad that they were able to get that support, and that there was a good resolution.
Yeah.
To this.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's kind of adorable. That's like the total like 100% girl side of me, just going, "Aw."
Yeah, it was a pretty adorable game.
So cute.
What do we have next up?
There came an echo.
Yes, there came an echo. This I'm really excited about. I don't know. I believe they announced it at PAX. They must have announced it at PAX. I'm going to choose to believe they did because I had never heard of it before, and it's amazing. So I choose to believe I wasn't just ignorant to it before PAX. But so I walked past this booth for this game. There came an echo, and all I saw at first was the sign with the title, and then it said Will Wheaton and Ashley Birch, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna delay my appointment for something else because this takes precedence. And I walked over. And I was like, "So what do you have going on here?" Listen, priorities. I was scouting, all right? Anyway, so what they're doing is they're making an XCOM-style squad-based tactical RTS, and it's completely voice-based. I mean, you can use a controller if you so choose, but the point of it is that it can be completely played via voice commands.
That's cool.
So I got into. They had this little soundproof booth set up. And I went in, and he gave me a demo of the game. And not only is it voice commands, but you can actually, they have this thing called aliasing is the system, and you can type in any type of command you want, and the game will translate it. So there's a screen that pops up, and on the left-hand side is just the list of commands as the computer will interpret it. And on the right side, you can customize the words you use. So let's say there's a guy in the game, I believe his name is Corin. He's one of the main three characters. And instead of saying Corin, if you want him to move from point A to point B, you can change his name. So I changed it to Spider-Man.
Yes.
So you hold down. I was playing on an Xbox One, so to open up the chat prompt, you hold down the right trigger. You hold down the right trigger and you say, Spider-Man fall back or Spider-Man move to point B, and it works totally fine. It was really awesome how well it worked.
That's cool. I haven't seen anything like that since like Mass Effect 3 had basic voice commands. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and the whole game works just as well, and the AI is pretty intelligent as far as both the enemy and the partner AI, so the tactics are pretty unique. You can concentrate fire, you can flank people, they'll flank you. It's pretty interesting.
Huh.
It's definitely one to follow.
Andy Bumpkin, sorry, he
okay.
pointed out that it was Kickstarter first by the guy who made Sequence.
Ah, okay.
Oh, really?
Well,
so it may have actually debuted at PAX post Kickstarter, but there was a Kickstarter for it.
good. We'll say that. First on
I'm trying to
Kickstarter.
get the technicalities in there, so that we're accurate reporting.
Yeah.
But in any case, I'm pretty excited to see where it goes. The voice cast is stellar. It's those two that I mentioned, Will Wheaton and Ashley Birch, who, if you don't know either, Will Wheaton started on Star Trek as Wesley, I believe was his character.
Yeah.
And
Wesley
then,
Crusher.
Wesley Crusher.
Yeah, and now he's with Geek and Sundry doing a lot of cool stuff like Tabletop, which you should definitely watch if you
They
enjoy
just had
tabletop
their
games.
third season actually kickstarted Tabletop.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
They did.
Yep, it's pretty awesome. And then Ashley Birch, of course, from Hey Ash, What You Playing? Sister to Anthony Birch, who wrote the Handsome Jack part and most of Borderlands 2. And I believe he's
Nice.
writing the prequel, pre-sequel, whatever it's
crazy.
called. And
Pretty cool.
the third, well, I think literally the title's like called the pre-sequel.
Nice.
And the third member of the voice team that they announced so far, in addition to those two, was Yuri Lowenthal, who does just about everything under the sun. But I think, I don't know, I know him best from Ben 10. He's been doing voice acting for a while.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's a pretty AAA voice team. It's coming to Xbox One. They're looking to put it on PS4. Steam is the priority, but I play it on Xbox One, and then PS4 is on the horizon.
Cool. Huh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that does sound really neat. Are we? I guess we're going.
Yeah,
to the
go
third
ahead.
one?
Yep, that's all you, buddy.
Okay. Grail to the Thief is the third game. And I was actually, I actually kind of found this in a panic yesterday because Nick's like, hey, what do you want to talk about? You got to bring a news piece in. And I was like, I was just going to, like, make jokes and just be here because, you know, that's what I do in podcast, womp womp. And I just did jazz hands while I was talking, by the way. This has become a part of my personality.
Yeah.
So, anyway, and I'm going to drop it in
Jazz
chat.
hands.
So,
Jazz hands.
so anyway...
I can't believe we went almost 15 minutes without this damn game.
You know, I'm
almost.
trying to cut back.
We're almost there.
It's a good thing I didn't put money down,
That's
because I would have lost that bet.
You would have lost so much money. Okay, so Grail to the Thief, just directly from the Kickstarter, it's an interactive audio adventure for the blind and visually impaired. And I saw that on the Kickstarter page because I typed in video game in the Kickstarter search and I just started scrolling. And I was like, but I want something interesting. I want something that doesn't, you know, that I haven't seen anything about. You know, I want to actually discover something. Like, that was my goal. So, make me sound less scummy there, but that's, like, really what I wanted to do.
No, and
So
this is a really
game.
cool project, too.
Yeah, and apparently they want to be on Average Giants.
Yes.
And, which is a great coincidence. I had no idea. And I really didn't. But essentially, what Grail to the Thief is it's a text-based adventure game that you listen to. So in the what was the game that everybody was like all over? You were eaten by a Gru, Zork. Like Zork from like way back when.
Man,
if anybody's old enough to remember Zork,
my wife
it's
actually.
Just this text. My dad used to play it,
Yeah.
and I played it when I was a kid because my dad liked it. Like, I remember Zork. And it's text-based adventure. You type in what you want to do, and the game continues. Now, the options here are a little more limited because, obviously, I mean, you know, if you're visually impaired, you're not going to, like, have the, I guess, I'm trying to find a way to word this. This isn't completely offensive, but, like, it's not that you're not going to want to type in your own scenarios, but it's going to be a little more difficult. And so they do offer a more RPG scenario where they actually have options for you to select, and you select them simply by pressing a number button, which they're all marked on every keyboard. They're, you know, the keypad is marked on the 5. There's like a little either a dot or a bar that marks it, kind of like Braille, and so every keyboard has the ability, you know, to be visual impairment ready, just like ATM machines, you know. So you press the option and then you go forward, and it's got voice acting in it, you know, so you can actually listen to it, use your imagination, and it's really neat. Like, I might play it just because, you know, sometimes my eyes get really bad. Like, you guys know I have seizures, and there's some days where I can't look at a computer screen, and there are days that I might want to play this. So I think it's really neat, and it's a great idea to make the games more accessible, you know, to people who may not otherwise be able to play, you know, games. I don't know. I just think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
Oh, that totally reminds me, before I forget, we should say this now. We're showing Source later, but Bonnie, you might want to close your eyes when we...
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I'm
we'll tell
good.
you.
I'm good on that. I've yes, thank you. But if you want to show the video, if you want to play the video real quick, just so that people know what I'm talking about, because it might be kind of hard to get until you see it, because I was imagining something different than what I saw in the video as
Grail
well.
to the Thief is an interactive audio adventure for Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux that can be played using only sound, without the need for visuals. The game has been designed with the needs of the blind and visually impaired in mind, but is also designed to be played by the non-impaired. Our goal is to deliver an exciting, immersive experience in which the player will always be fully aware of what is happening through the use of voiceovers, sound effects, ambient sound, and music. In Grail to the Thief, players make their choices through a conversation tree, eliminating the confusion and frustration that comes with traditional text adventure games, which require players to type in commands to progress. The game is a nostalgic throwback to childhood favorites, such as Zork, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Day of the Tentacle, and Grim Fandango, and draws inspiration from old BBC radio dramas and the movie Time Bandits. The game stars Hank Krang, a thief from the future, and his self-aware time machine, Teddy, as they go throughout time stealing priceless artifacts. In Grail to the Thief, Hank and Teddy travel to Arthurian times in search of the Holy Grail. We developed a prototype of Grail to the Thief to serve as a proof of concept and give you an idea of what the game will be like. Let's take a look.
Back again, eh, stranger?
Yeah.
Before I let you in, you have to apologize.
What?
Just do it, Hank.
So?
1. Apologize.
I'm sorry I was rude.
Ah, there's a fine lad. All is forgiven. No need to worry. You are strangely dressed, though.
I'm sorry I didn't pack my corset.
And you keep talking to yourself. You act like one of those fools that entertains the king.
1. Say you're a blacksmith. 2. Say you're a jester. 3. Say you're from the future.
I'm a time traveler from the future who's here to steal the Holy Grail.
Well, we're dead.
A link to the prototype is available on the Kickstarter page so that you can try it yourself. Few games are available to the blind and visually impaired, and many of the games that are available are severely dated, lack the quality and polish of games for the sighted, and rely on synthesized computer voices, such as screen readers, in order to play. Grail to the Thief is designed to address these problems, and the game will be just as accessible and exciting an experience for the blind and visually impaired as it will be for the non-impaired. Your funding will help us deliver an interactive audio adventure with an engaging story, interesting characters, professional voiceovers and sound effects, and accessible controls. Grail to the Thief will be available as a DRM-free download for Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux in August 2014. Your support will help cover the costs of game development, software licensing, backer reward fulfillment, and Kickstarter and Amazon credit card processing fees. We need your help to make this game a reality, so please back our project, and thanks for listening.
Huh. That is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful, initiative that they're taking.
Completely.
Because, yes, I mean, so often, like they said, games for the visually impaired, people are like, it doesn't matter, they're blind. It's like, dude, it does matter, they're people. What is wrong with you? so yeah, that got me really excited when I was reading about it, so.
That is a pretty cool idea.
Yep.
I do like, I mean, there's a pretty big, especially in the indie community, there's a pretty big push for accessibility. I mean, they're getting a lot better with colorblind stuff, and there's a lot of audio-only games that I've seen coming out. There's another one on Kickstarter that I think we talked about, we did a news story about not too long ago. It's like a post-apocalyptic game.
Oh, yeah,
that
right.
was an audio adventure as well.
Yeah.
So it's really great to see so many accessibility initiatives.
And, I had mentioned earlier, the whole vision thing, that's something that I'm kind of sticking my nose into for other developers. On Twitter, I'm like, guys, do you need me to help? Do you need me to help? Because I helped Black Ice with their photosensitive mode. I helped, I think his name's Eric Hornby, but he's creating a game. I helped him figure out what might bother people on his game, in terms of seizures and photosensitivity. And it's just a big deal for me to make games accessible because I went from being able to play whatever the hell I wanted to getting sick and not being able to. So I went from woohoo to aw crap. So I'm trying to get rid of as much of the aw crap as possible. and you can't really fix it unless you get in there and do it. And so projects like this like really make me happy because somebody else is getting out there and doing what I'm doing, being the squeaky wheel kind of thing. So it's great.
And they're targeting release this year, right? It's over the summer.
Yeah, August.
Okay.
Wow.
August 2014.
And they are they're actually just about. They have 6 days to go, but they only need $400 to get funded.
Guys, fund it.
They're
Oh no!
at
Dang it, that's the wrong
7,600.
one. Lol.
GG. I posted it. It's cool.
Thanks. Jazz hands.
All right. So that's the news portion, right?
Yeah. On to some fun videos.
On to the Kickstarter watch.
First up, we have the Universium, which is
This game is going crazy on the internet right now.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I mean, they made like 50K the first day, and I see they're up to almost 59 now. So yesterday was a bit slower, but it's pretty wild what they're working on. But we'll show the video.
I love how big they want this game to be, but I don't love how big the price is. But that being said, let's start the video here.
This is a mass of rock and air, molded together in the infinite fabric of space, intertwined to create the perfect environment for sustaining life. I am a living planet. I was cold and alone for such a long time, until one day life burned into existence. They began so small, so fragile, so very young. But with time, they grew stronger, and civilizations rose from the dust. From stone to metal, their technologies advanced. Soon they learned to swim. And eventually, they learned how to fly. For a time, I thought we would be friends. But that was not to be. They drained my resources for centuries, until I had nothing left to give. They endured my disasters and cured whatever diseases I could unleash. But one day, they turned their gaze to the stars, searching for others like me. What they did not know was that they were not alone.
Hello, my name is Alexander Koshelkov. I'm the founder of Creativo Games, an indie studio currently working on our first project, The Universium. We're all very excited to be working on such a unique and expansive gaming experience, and we're incredibly happy to share some of the details about the game with you today. Check it out.
The Universium aims to give you the powers of a god and unleash you upon the universe to begin forging your galactic empire in the stars. You have the ability to influence their decisions and change the way in which your civilization evolves, like choosing their research path and what kind of technology they develop. However, you cannot take direct control of them. You can attempt to end wars between cities and help usher in an age of discovery and technological advancement. Or you can watch as they destroy one another and bring about an age of chaos. We like to think of this as organic gameplay, almost as though you're managing your own ant farm. The AI will make many of its own decisions, but you'll still be there to keep them alive and happy. We believe this makes for a very fun and dynamic gameplay experience. Your civilization will begin in the Stone Age and slowly progress until they advance beyond the modern era, moving into the age of intergalactic exploration and colonization. You'll play a major role in their development, particularly in research and evolution. Research decisions can be challenging at times. For example, your early people will probably not get very far without the ability to create fire for warmth and protection. And when your growing tribe is threatened by a pack of vicious beasts, maybe inventing the wheel is a milestone that can take a back seat to researching something like stone weapons. Buildings and society will evolve as you progress from era to era, and certain special buildings will become available with research into particular technologies. After placing an epicenter, the heart of a city, on a suitable location, buildings will slowly begin to develop around it. They'll be constructed dynamically by your population as their numbers grow. However, special buildings like epicenters can be placed wherever you choose. In the Universim, resources play a major role in the game. They govern the integrity and growth of your civilization. Resources can be used in various ways: to create new technologies, to expand your empire, to research exciting or life-saving inventions, and so much more. This is what makes intergalactic exploration so important in the space age. The space era will be the culmination of all your hard work. This is where you'll begin to discover all the beauty and mercilessness of alien planets. Every planet you encounter in the game will be as unique and vibrant as the last. You'll come across planets with varying temperatures and environmental conditions, as well as a wide range of characteristics that make them incredibly special. Planets will also undergo the changing of seasons, which can affect the many environmental biomes on the planet. This can have a major effect on things like the gathering of food and resources, as well as the development of buildings. For instance, you may come across a planet with very little oxygen. The issue can be resolved by making use of atmosphere generators, which consume resources, or you can simply plant more trees which generate air far more slowly, but without consuming resources. You'll also encounter a variety of different natural resources which range from common to rare. They're what make the colonization process worth it. Be warned though, you'd better come prepared. If adequate research about the planet is not done, it may result in the untimely demise of your colonization team. The Universim is driven by dynamic events. Natural disasters, alien visitors, diseases, wars, famine, riots, and so much more can be thrown at your civilization at any time. All of these factors and how you play the game contribute to population growth and development. The way in which you fight certain disasters changes from era to era. Cavemen do not exactly have PhDs in science and the knowledge to create cures, for instance. However, you too can trigger disasters if you're displeased with your civilization's choices. With every action they perform that displeases you, you generate wrath, and then you can unleash your wrath upon them at any time. Every now and then, something mysterious may fall upon one of your planets. You can then prepare an expedition to investigate these rare occurrences if you so wish. However, caution is advised. It may be an incredible gift, such as new technology or a valuable research, or a deadly virus that can quickly spread through your cities. Or it can be an explosive compound that, upon disturbing, wipes out part of the planet. One more feature that we're really excited to implement is the dynamic news system. It'll keep you informed about important game events in a humorous way. We hope to eventually give players the ability to write their own stories for the game and share them with the community. There'll be no DRM for the game whatsoever, and an internet connection is not required for activation or play. However, an internet connection can allow for an even more dynamic and entertaining experience by making things like the community-driven live news system available, among other features.
With a game of this caliber, we really have no limits as what we can create and implement in the final game and beyond. That is why we need the help of the community on the Kickstarter to make this game a reality. One of the features we plan to implement if the community goes above and beyond of our expectation is an epic multiplayer mode, which we have detailed on our Kickstarter page. We'd also like to officially announce that all the future DLC will be completely free and there will be absolutely no microtransactions. If you like what you're hearing and would like to help us, then please give us a support and remember to share the page with your friends. Together we can create the best planet management god game ever made.
So, that was a lot to take in.
Yes, it is.
It's an amazing game, though. The scope of that is massive.
Yeah, somebody in chat was just asking if this is their first game. I believe it is their first game as a team, but individually they come from a background of various titles.
Yeah, no, that's very true. So, if you guys want this game to happen...
I forgot to unmute myself. I'm so smart.
If you want this game to happen,
like,
it needs your help.
And yeah.
Oh, would you look at that? We're actually... Did you know we were on the front page of their Kickstarter? I didn't know they put a little graphic for us with a link to our story.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Hey.
Huzzah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I have to find this.
Excellent. Anyway.
Vinny's excited.
I am excited.
Holy
crap. Right next to Rock, Paper, Shotgun, where we belong.
Yep, I agree.
Hell yeah.
Multiplayer.
Anyway, so I'm pretty excited for this. I mean, this was Anthony's story. He found this, so he gets all the credit for the write-up.
Go, Anthony!
He was super excited, so I checked it out, and now I'm super excited because it sounds like a great idea. I really hope they can pull it off the way they want to.
Yeah. Again, if you guys want to see this game happen, it needs your help because with a game this big in scope and this good looking, it comes with a huge price tag. So they need $320,000. I'd like to keep an eye on this one for the next couple of weeks because I want to see what happens with it. Because they're only quotation marks at 60,000 right now.
Right. Which is like what, a little bit over 15%. So they've got some work to do.
Yeah.
But, I do like their pledge rewards as well. I mean, you can get beta access and DRM free version of the game for $20 right now.
Yeah.
The $10 early bird discount flew. They had 700 of those, and they were gone the first day.
Wow.
But I mean, $10 for this game is a pretty huge steal. So, but even $20 for early beta access.
No, that's
and
great.
DRM free when it comes out, pretty worthwhile. I believe there's a soundtrack involved as well.
Yeah. You've got all your... Woo! They are swagalicious with their pledges. Swaggy. Oh, look at that! You can get a globe. Oh man.
Should we pledge at the $600 tier? You get a special in-game advertisement. You get a billboard.
Yes, please.
Yes, we should.
You throw that on the advertising budget.
We'll work on it. If this Kickstarter lasted a few more months, we'd be.
That'd be so cool.
We'll talk. We're gonna follow up with these guys, so.
Yeah, totally. Especially because they linked us on their site.
I may or may not have tweeted them pretty passive aggressively, saying that 50K in that day one. I'd like to attribute that to our article.
Oh, please.
Next up, we have a game to scare the pants off everybody. This is called Grave. It's an interesting one. They just made it yesterday, I believe. They actually got their goal. And actually, they're doing quite well. It's going around.
So he has nothing to worry about.
Yeah. This one's been going around on YouTube. Like, all the big guys have been covering it lately. But I want to check the video out because it's actually kind of cool. If it starts.
My name is Abby and I do art for Grave.
Daniel Strayer, I'm the lead programmer.
I'm Will, I'm a 3D artist.
My name's Tristan Parrish Moore and I'm the designer of Grave.
What is Grave? Grave is a game.
Grave is an open-world, surrealist survival horror experience where light is your only weapon, set in a constantly changing reality. So when we started working on Grave, we had two major goals. We wanted to be able to create procedural horror that wasn't about scripted moments or individual sequences of events. The other objective we had is that we wanted a dynamic, changing world that could make new emergent experiences occur through play.
You know, we were from the desert, so we're constantly surrounded by it, so seeing it in this strange parallel dimension almost that you become kind of trapped in is really fun to come up with like things that could be happening there.
Experiences in games are a lot more compelling when you can't predict what's happening. And that fits really naturally into the genre of roguelike or pseudo-roguelike games. A lot of those kind of games do a system where they start you off in a randomly generated world. So we basically decided, well, let's not start people off in a random world. Let's change that world every time it gets dark.
The immersive factor is very important for us, especially with the fact we're producing this game to be fully compatible with the Oculus Rift.
We see the Oculus as the truest form of what a first-person adventure game can be. We don't look at it as a platform, we look at it as a peripheral. That any game that exists in first person can be enhanced by that peripheral. We are all fans of survival horror and traditional classic horror experiences, and we felt that that genre has disappeared or it's been really marginalized over its lifespan. And our goal for Grave is to take modern horror sensibilities and apply them to a more survival-based system and allow the player agency in a world that is also really frightening and uncontrollable.
We want to make this game. And for us to do that, we need a little bit of help.
Games normally take hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. Even small games tend to take hundreds of thousands of dollars to make. We're not trying to get a traditional development budget off of Kickstarter.
How traditional can you be with a small team who have to do things like with Grave around their normal hours of work? We want this game to happen, and we want this to be the thing that we do and we give our time to, which is why we want to do this, why we want Kickstarter to happen.
We have high standards because players have high standards. We want to be able to give those players the experience that they want.
If we are able to achieve our goal for the Kickstarter, we will have the jump start that we need to move a chunk of our team into full-time production. If we get more than our goal, we can bring more people on at a full-time capacity, and we can better realize our game.
I want this evocative experience for Grave, for the player to want to know what's going to happen or want to experience what's going to happen.
To scare the living crap out of players. My personal goal is to give people nightmares. I'm going to be giving people nightmares. I just thought of that. It's a very good feeling.
So, that's Grave.
Okay, that is why Beard Guy is my favorite, guys. Oh my god. I'm going to be giving people nightmares. That's a good feeling. Like, yes, exactly. Like, that's, I don't know. If you're developing a horror game, aim high. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. If you're not, like,
But, okay.
scaring children.
Like, okay, my first impression on seeing this game is it's a first-person Alan Wake with aliens. And I hope that they designed the mechanisms better than Alan Wake, because not to piss off anybody who loves Alan Wake, Vinny, but it's like,
You're very close to being fired. Just tread lightly.
It's okay, Bonnie. Vinny doesn't
Please,
like
I'm
Mirror's Edge, so clearly he doesn't have taste in games.
well, I can't play Mirror's Edge, so I don't really have an opinion on that. But the whole thing with Alan Wake was Alan had one facial expression, you know, and that just added to the clunkiness of the motion when he ran around and aimed at stuff. Like, the aiming had to be like really freaking precise, or else you'd die. Like, I don't know, it just, something about it just seemed like really off to me. And the game itself is a good concept, don't get me wrong. I love the Alan Wake game concept. So I'm kind of hoping that that Grave does that a little bit better, but at the same time, being an indie studio, I'm not gonna like sit here and be like, you have to be better than Alan Wake, roar, do it on your off hours, make it perfect, you know, because obviously, I mean, come on. But it does look like a fun thing. Like, just being in first person can change that dynamic so much with the movement.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
that exciting.
I will say, I don't know, it looks like they're doing a day and night cycle, and I feel like that, I like the idea, but for an indie studio, that sort of complicates things every now and again.
Yeah.
Almost two separate game modes.
As well, with that graphical fidelity, like, I'm wondering how much work they're putting in the mechanics and actual, like, gameplay and pacing, as compared to just making their setting pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. The other thing, a lot of studios like to do this on Kickstarter too. For higher pledge tiers, they'll either let backers get involved in the game process or have like their likeness in the game. And Grave's doing that too. They have a tier for becoming a 3D ghost in the game. I don't know. We talk about this a little bit in the May issue of the magazine next week, but a lot of the developers say that one of the pitfalls they run into on Kickstarter is they do these pledge tiers and they actually have a few people back them, and you know, it's for $325, and it turns into a lot more work than that to implement, you know, someone's likeness in a game or a 3D model, or have them come on and be a part of the creative process. So I mean, I think that they just added it with their last update, but that's kind of, it's tricky territory to get into.
If you guys are curious about watching more Grave, though, you can check them out on, like, the big YouTubers quotations. Like, Markiplier did it, Jacksepticeye did it, so that's a good place to see some of the gameplay. However, moving on.
To find and post that link.
The Markiplier, it's actually right on the page here.
Oh, well, I mean, I chat. So that people could watch it.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Yeah, I posted it in chat so people could watch it.
Yeah, totally. Next up.
Let's just get this one over with. This next Kickstarter.
I'm so excited.
Okay, everybody. If you hear strange noises coming from Nick,
I would just like to point out that the one we're covering right after this is called Technolust, and that's no accident.
Yeah, actually, that's another game that I'm really excited about, Technolust. And
anyway,
I can be as excited as I want about this game because I have lots of people backing me up that way. This game was backed in like record time. I think it took 3 days for them to get like fully backed. And it is called Hover Revolt of Gamers. It's an open world parkour free running game, and don't think I need to say anything else. We'll just watch it. I'm so excited.
Yes, we know.
What you just saw was a development version of our game, realized without any budget and showing just a small part of the city, as well as some basic movements. Hover, Revolt of Gamers is a parkour game obviously inspired by the Pioneer Mirror's Edge, but also by the eccentricity and crazy dynamism of Jet Set Radio Future. And we are happy to tell you that Hideki Naganuma, a great composer of Jet Set Radio's soundtrack, has agreed to work with us on the project. Hover sends us into a vast, futuristic megalopolis, straight out of an SF movie, with a playground 100% explorable and interactive. When I was young, I was deeply marked by movie scenes like Lilo's fall in The Fifth Element, as well as John Anderton's escape riding futuristic vehicles in Minority Report. I've always dreamed of being able to experience such situations, and even more of being able to simply walk freely through those amazing cities like Coruscant in Star Wars, or the Colony from Total Recall 2012. To climb on top of those gigantic buildings and watch the view, that panorama teeming with life and technologies, it's a sensation that I've never been able to experience through video games, since those kinds of environments are always limited to poorly interactive and simple backgrounds. Who were better to explore the verticality of such a city, other than heroes able to run at full speed, slide on anything and everything, and do huge jumps? My main goal is to bring to Hover gameplay that gives the maximum amount of sensation, to make a demanding game that will appeal to hardcore gamers seeking challenge and competition, but also to create intuitive and quick-to-handle controls as well, using first-person or third-person view. Once in control of your favorite character, jump from wall to wall, slide on gutters and barriers, do tricks, and bounce off the ground to never lose any height. Accumulate experience to unlock new aptitudes and personalize each gamer you'll have recruited with the Resistance. Hover is an open-world game as well, no question of limiting the gamer to a predefined path. During the missions, be the quickest possible while showing observation skills to find paths that fit situations the most. The police or rival gangs might pop up if you end up being too careless, so prepare yourself to improvise at all times. To prevent any path mistake or involuntary falls, each gamer's suit provides a rewind function, allowing him to reverse his actions at any time, making the game more accessible to new gamers. This function, which does a geographical and not temporal rewind, will allow you, once mastered, to create new unpredictable movements and avoid your opponent's attacks. Hover isn't an FPS, therefore there are no weapons. By making this choice and by focusing the game on the movements, I refined the gameplay, inspiring myself from skating sports games like Jet Set Radio for its arcade aspect, and the Tony Hawk Skateboarding Saga for its scoring system. I have therefore sprinkled our parkour game with a combo and trick system, which in addition to allowing scoring battles, adds a new co-op mechanism as well, the Stunning Aura, which will allow you to slow down enemies and boost nearby allies' morale. We've designed the entire game with multiplayer gameplay in mind. You'll be able to at any moment connect to an online server and challenge other gamers in competitions created by the community, or simply make your character evolve in co-op mode. Still, with reinforcing the immersion in mind, I've carefully worked on the Oculus Rift compatibility as well, to offer you sensations particularly adapted to virtual glasses and goggles. Hover, Revolt of Gamers tells the story of a group of gamers from another world, fighting the oppression that's running through their city since a new tyrannical mayor came into power. New laws have appeared, making video games illegal, and condemning anyone to forced labor in the gigantic warehouses if they're caught under offensive entertainment. Adding to the anti-leisure propaganda that's been filling the streets, a new police including security drones and dreadful agents is now roaming the city, persecuting the population to confiscate all video game consoles. Despite the risks, the resistance slowly shapes itself in the shadows. Equipped with magnetic suits offering extraordinary movement capabilities, other gamers and yourself will have to put an end to the mayor's propaganda, help the persecuted citizens, free the confiscated consoles and Hover City's neighborhoods, and make the tyranny fall. At Fusty Game, we don't like intrusive and linear scenarios. This is why the characters will communicate between one another in real time, without the slightest interruption of your game, and the story will be narrated through missions and dynamic events that you'll be able to experience at your will. Each element in the universe of Hover is justified, from the menu to the graphical interface which unfolds cleverly, showing the options and control windows that you might need, without spoiling your immersion. To give you an idea, I'm going to tell you what a day as a Resistance gamer looks like. You start your game without any imposed goal. A few moments walking around will be enough to find something to do. You can, for example, help a citizen being persecuted by a security drone for having played with the console too much. Knock the drone and this one will start chasing you, leaving time for the citizen to escape. Each of your actions will bring consequences, however. Helping a citizen, doing a huge combo, or exploring high-perched areas. Here, for example, after having shaken off the drones and saved the citizen, a gamer impressed with your performance will come into contact to offer you a mission. The mission offered here is an infiltration mission. You'll have to gather some hidden consoles from a difficult-to-reach and highly supervised warehouse. Even if you could have stayed quiet, let's imagine once again that you've been spotted by one of the surveillance cameras. The alert has been given. A flying drone comes up and is now escaping with one of the precious consoles. It exits the building and flies through the city at high pace. If you play online, it'll be preferable to be held by other players by doing tricks, for example, which will generate stunning aura, will boost your allies' morale, and slow down your enemies. Even if you catch up to the vehicle, you'll still have to bring the gaming consoles back to an extraction point. You'll have to find the fastest way through the vast city to compensate for the package's weight, which will make you vulnerable. And you'll have to skillfully play with your team by passing the console to each other, while avoiding the Secu Box's assaults, or even other online gamers. Once the mission is completed, enjoy your reward by going into one of the city's shops to buy some equipment, or by putting your reputation at stake in some multiplayer competitions. Deeply attached to an era where cartoon games didn't lack audacity, like Jet Set Radio, I wanted to highlight the cartoon style through a deeply fun and dynamic character design. Hover takes place in another world. The gamers that you'll recruit in your team will be representatives of numerous and various extraterrestrial ethnic groups, like Watabaks, the blue bit as nervous as he is joyful, Greendie, his faithful daredevil friend who's permanently bringing them to delicate situations, and many others yet to be discovered through the game, like Vilon the Rebel or Otello the little computer genius. Involved with a highly technological context, it isn't surprising to count a few synthetic gamers within the team, like the droid Kit, and it goes the same for the city's inhabitants. Even if you're hunted in solo mode, or if you choose to be the hunter in multiplayer, experience diverse clans with various objectives and get involved into the fight raging through the city. It's the case of a rival gang naming themselves the Breakers, which, despite being advocates of the gamer's rights, uses violent and anarchistic methods to bring the tyranny down. Or even the numerous security drones put in place by the new mayor of Hover City. With a humanoid look or simple drones, the police only have one goal: hunt the gamers down and convert them to its cause. To get rid of some of the architectural restraints and have a total freedom of creativity, I chose to build the city on another planet. Thus, it's the representative of an extraterrestrial population as eclectic as it is technologically advanced. In order to vary the ambiances and offer various yet specific gameplay, I imagined a city split up in multiple areas. The player will have the freedom of evolving from the working class neighborhood where its inhabitants are relatively poor and the architecture is chaotic with buildings stacked above one another, to more technological neighborhoods where the buildings climb high into the heavens, where numerous flying cars furrow the sky, trains following the vertical lining of the buildings, or even underground neighborhoods made out of numerous sewer systems that enable the quick access of remote parts of the city. Whatever the neighborhood may be, you can also feel the scenario's context. Numerous tags and graffiti made by the gamer's resistance adorn the walls, as well as a huge number of advertisement panels and video screens from the anti-video games propaganda, making the dictatorial atmosphere ruling the city stand out. To make the technological and dynamic aspects stand out, I've prioritized saturated shades and flashy lighting. Our goal is to bring you far, far away from what you're used to seeing in video games. Note that each player will be able to buy their own apartment in any of the city's buildings, which will serve them as a menu and spawning point when starting a game. Thank you for watching our presentation video of Hover, Revolt of Gamers. We hope that you have enjoyed the rather singular and colored atmosphere of our game, as well as our commitment to proposing thrilling sensations and a non-violent gameplay element. It's with your help and support that we'll be able to realize this ambitious project in time and continue to work with a complete creative freedom to offer you a very unique experience.
I'm so sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Savvy. We were watching the video, and in Axon, there's the ability to move your characters around, so Vinny and I were chasing each other around, and then things just went a little sideways.
Wait, who are we sandwiching?
Giggity.
Oh, indeed. Giggity indeed. So.
With a honey in the middle, there's some leeway. Oh, Axon is amazing. Axon is a voice. It's a VoIP program. Essentially, it uses a lot less computer memory, processing power, whatnot, and it's actually got directional capabilities, so you can hear which side a person is on, so to speak. Like if
it's
you're
pretty fun.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, and you can like move your character around and like make the sound echo, which is fun. But I'll post a link. You go ahead and talk about the game. I'll get the link.
So, Hover, Revolt of Gamers, who's playing with me? Who's playing with me?
I can't afford it.
I don't care.
Buy it for me and I'll play it with you for like 10 minutes before I throw up.
Shit. I'm interested to see how they follow through with this game. So they have a lot planned. The whole multiplayer thing, open world, like dynamic content, organic gameplay, player housing, everything. The stretch goals are good. Like I assume they're going to hit every stretch goal with how they've been going. But there's one where they're going to double the size of the city, which is going to make it an even bigger game. Bigger. So I'll be interested to see that.
I'm open world games. Like, I don't know. It's like it like puts my ADD in overdrive. Like, I literally don't know what to do first. I will bumble into things. I'll go the wrong way for what I'm supposed to be doing.
You're supposed to do that in this game because things will come and hit you for like things to do. You just
and I realize
around.
that in Skyrim's the same way. I mean, I get it, but I'm still terrible at those kinds of games. It's like somebody said that they don't play Minecraft for that reason, because too much of an open world is like, well, what do I do now? And in Minecraft, yeah, they come for you there too. Like, it's not it's not just like a static, I'm just sitting here kind of game. But I will only play Minecraft if I'm playing with someone else, because I'm literally, like, I made the comparison mouse in a fully stocked kitchen. I really literally don't know where to go first because there's so much around me. And a game like this, it reminds me a lot of SSX Tricky, which I played a lot of, like, oh god, I'm going to date myself, about 13 years ago. That was my favorite game.
Back when you were like 30? Sorry.
Shut your face. I was a senior in high school. Bite me. So, but I really liked that game a lot, and when I saw this one, that's immediately what I thought of, and that, I would love to play just for that aspect of it, just to kind of like randomly run around. But then there's like, what's the goal? What's the purpose? I have to have a purpose. But I can see how for a lot of people this is like a dream come true.
Oh my god, is it ever?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But yeah, like I said, I need to see what's going to happen with the follow through here. Because they have a lot of potential and a lot of people. That's the thing. If it's everybody's dream that this game was made, it means that everybody has a different idea of how it's going to be executed.
I have to say, I will say they're about to hit 50,000, but these guys really need to hit 60K.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's when they add Hideki Naganuma's soundtrack. And for those who don't know, he composed the first Jet Set Radio, and his soundtracks are incredible.
Yes,
so
they are.
They absolutely need it for this game. That's kind of the deal breaker for me. I mean, I really like Jet Set Radio for sure. I love the Dreamcast, best console ever. But
yeah,
I wasn't a big fan of Mirror's Edge, so I'm glad the third person mode is in it, because I don't know, I really didn't like Mirror's Edge. I guess just the story didn't intrigue me, and the first person was rough for me. So the third person is a really great sign, and then adding on top Naganuma's soundtrack would be okay. I'm sold.
Just unbelievable. Yeah. Well, Vinny, there's only one way that they're going to get to 60,000. People got to pledge. People got to pledge, Vinny.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, because we have 2 games left, and technically we're already going over time. Yeah, so we don't have to. I wanted to check this one out again. We checked out Technolust the last time we did our newscast, and I just found it really interesting. I just wanted to bring it back and show you that Technolust will be a thing. It made its pledge goal it's got like 2 weeks left, which is really cool to see. We'll watch just the first part of the video, though.
In the early part of the 21st century, the corporations took control. They bought our politicians. They bought our intellectual property. They sold our world. We will resist. This is our world now. The world of the electron and the switch. The beauty of the board. The revolution will be televised.
Shall we play a game?
That's actually good enough.
Alright.
Technolust.
It's no hover.
No, it's no hover. I am really excited for this game as well. It just doesn't make me feel funny in the pants.
Oh, that's gonna end up on their Kickstarter quote, isn't it?
Yeah.
That would be amazing. But Technolust, I'm excited that it's coming out. It's what I was really excited about, besides the fact that it's cyberpunk and deals with hacktivism and that kind of thing, which is huge for me. Yay, go team! What's that game coming out? Watch Dogs? But
Yep.
I'm really excited to see somebody putting some actual work into the graphics behind an Oculus game, because I love the Oculus, but other than things like Hawken, I really haven't seen too much graphical fidelity. So I'm glad to see somebody trying to take that to the next level and being like, you know what, this is what games can look like.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for cyberpunk, so I mean, it's pretty easy to get me interested in your game that's cyberpunk related.
Yeah.
Like Cyberpunk 2077, I'm watching that like a hawk the moment that's out. First of all, we need to agree, everybody as a community, that CD Projekt Red is indie, because I want to review their stuff. And I mean, they have a huge staff, but they are pretty indie in spirit. So
you convince everybody that WildStar's indie, so I think that should be easy enough.
yeah, hey, I mean, they agreed on Twitter, so I think we're all in agreement that CD Projekt Red is okay to cover.
Yeah, I see all these Oculus games, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, I can't do any hacktivism stuff, but I'm like really interested in it. I've got friends who are in the movement, and games like this, like they excite me for that reason. It's like, oh, this is cool. I actually know something about this, but you know, games made for Oculus and the Oculus itself, they don't.
Yeah, this one will be PC as well,
but made for Oculus.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Either one was made for Oculus, and that game made me sick after about, I think I got through 90 minutes of it, and then I had a migraine and had to go to bed.
Ugh,
so, yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's like, if they're focusing more on the graphics, like, they may be able to avoid that issue for the PC games. So I would like to see this game come onto PC, that was worded very awkwardly, and not be as jarring, I guess is a good word for it, in the visuals, like not so much blurring and stuff.
So you don't want the $2,000 pledge goal, which is we will build an arcade machine with a full virtual reality experience dedicated to you.
I would throw up on everything I love.
That's pretty. Oh, somebody actually pledged that too. Jiminy.
I'm so glad that they have that kind of disposable income.
Yeah, that's what Vinny was talking about before. That's kind of what I was bringing up about with those lofty goals in your Kickstarter. It's like, well, nobody's going to do this, but it'd be really funny to, like, I don't know, put a person right in the game or build them an entire VR arcade machine.
And now you got to do it.
Yeah. Well, crap. What are we going to do?
Yep.
Actually, I do kind of like it. I don't have any space for anything, but I do want eventually arcade cabinets in a home.
Oh, me too.
I do kind of, whenever I look at a Kickstarter and they have that as a pledge goal, I always kind of think, wow, almost. One day soon.
My wife knows very well that my goal in life is to turn our basement into, like, Flynn's Arcade. Which,
for sure.
If anybody gets that reference, I already like you.
Well, duh. Who wouldn't get that reference? I mean, come on.
All right, we got one more.
One more.
Kickstarter.
Bonnie, you're not going to want to watch this one, I don't think.
Should we put a disclaimer? I don't know. Should we put a disclaimer? If you have photosensitivity issues or light-induced seizures,
do you not like lights?
If you get migraines, if you get motion sickness, if you get any problems with lights giving you headaches, if you have seizures, go ahead and go distract yourself with something else for a few minutes.
Yeah, the rest of us are going to watch the techno dubstep butterfly game.
I'm going to watch the Pine announcement trailer.
Cool.
Hi there, I'm Brian, and this is Anna and Skylar, and we're husband-wife team Phoenix Fire. You might know us from Roboto and the Oculus Tuscany World demo, or maybe some of the large-scale projects we worked on while at the major publishers. But today we want to talk about our newest and most special project, Source.
Source is that dream project I always wanted to make. A child of the 80s, I was heavily influenced by early computer graphic movies like Tron and classic NES games such as Metroid and Zelda. In fact, one of my earliest memories is playing Space Invaders on our UHF dial TV set. We also want to make something meaningful with Source, something special. We want to create an alternate world full of life, mystery, and wonder, which is largely inspired by the birth of our son Skylar. The act of discovering what everything in the world does and its place is a magical time in everyone's life, and we want to capture this in Source. Source is very much an adventure game full of exploration and puzzle solving, with a deep upgrade and experience system. The core ability of the Firefly is its ability to gather and release energy in different forms and colors. You have a lightning beam tool, which is great for pollinating cocoons, picking up objects, capturing creatures, or just feeling your way around the world. You also have the ability to fire energy bursts. Of course, all this costs energy, which is constantly depleting, much like any living creature. Part of your gameplay strategy is to find ways to feed and nourish yourself by interacting with the various plants and creatures in the world. We want to create a truly epic story for Source, which will not contain any dialogue, but instead visual expression and body language of the creatures. The world of Source begins in a peaceful and idyllic state in the white world, but soon it is discovered that the world is being torn apart by an ominous dark energy. In the adventure, you will dive into the depths of the dark world to attempt to find the source of this darkness and somehow restore balance.
Source is being developed for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Anna and I are pouring all of our decades worth of console game experience into crafting this amazing adventure, but we need your help.
The money from Kickstarter will be put towards creating an amazing soundtrack and sound design for the game. It will be put towards art creation, overall game development, and also porting the game to the new consoles.
Please help us make Source the timeless experience it deserves to be. Thank you for your time and interest in watching this video. We sincerely hope this is the beginning of a great journey that we get to share together.
So that was Techno Dubstep Butterfly.
Techno Dubstep Butterfly, the game.
Yeah.
I think they prefer the term Metroidvania with wings, actually. That's the description.
Metroidvania with wings.
It's from
my
the
gosh.
developer himself. That's what he told me. Anyway, I'm really excited for this one. I mean, it's hard to do 3D Metroidvanias, I think, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But, especially as an action puzzler. But, I mean, it looks beautiful. It's definitely next-gen quality.
Yeah.
If the puzzles work, the way they're shaping up to, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I especially like, there's no dialogue in the game, so but there is a story, so all of the storytelling will have to be told through visual cues, and if you could pull that off right, I think it's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty, like I said, I was squinting and looking at chat, so I was like watching the trailer out of the corner of my eye. And it's incredibly bright, and as a fellow child of the 80s, I love this kind of style. Like Master Reboot is another one that's that's got that kind of style on it, and I think it's really neat. I would be interested to see what else what else comes of it, though, because it's visually pretty, but to me it's visually uninteresting. Does that make sense? It's very pretty, but the environments as I see them thus far are like, oh, okay, that's a thing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Savvy worded it. I love Tron, but I just didn't like the way this one was stylized. Could have been done differently. Yes, it's the style of the environments that's like, gosh, you could have done so much more with this.
Now, it'll be interesting to see because we some of us know Super Duper Garrett Cooper.
Yes.
And you were talking about how you helped him develop the light sensitivity. This game reminds me a little bit of like the visuals of Black Ice if it had way more particles. So I'll be interested to see if they do any kind of light sensitivity or color blind, like that kind of thing with their game.
I sincerely doubt it because their game is relying on the lights. Garrett's was not. Like, yes, his game, there's a lot of elements to his game that having the regular version on with the glow and the neon colors and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, this is really cool, look at this, but it's not imperative to the gameplay. This game looks like it depends on those lights. It not just for the environment, but for the actual gameplay. So if you don't have, some of these things going on, you can't play the game, period. Like, it was relying so much on the light scheme that they're not going to be able to do the light-sensitive version.
Also, small sidebar.
Fine.
That bottom picture, does that remind anybody else of, like, Titan AE?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Totally.
That's what I was thinking.
I know they just launched the Greenlight campaign. I just linked to it. I think they're doing pretty well.
And I'll
but
vote
their
for it,
Kickstarter, their Kickstarter is a shame. It's only at like 25% of the way funded, and they only have 2 weeks left. But we'll see where it goes.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, because I think it's a nice idea. I mean, they have work to do, but I like the style a lot. I like the idea. It's definitely different from the other Metroidvanias and action puzzle games out there.
Again, if you like this game, you want to see it made, there's only one way it's going to be made.
Yep. Kickstart that biatch. Yes, thank you, Vinny, for putting the link in there.
You're welcome. I'm useful.
Yeah, like when I and other people say things like, oh, this game isn't, I think they could do this with it, I think they could do that with it. That's a personal preference thing, but also that doesn't mean that we don't want people to support the Kickstarter. Because the way to improve anything is to get the ability to improve it. And for a lot of programmers, a lot of game developers, the only way that they can make any improvements is through your help. So if you want to see changes made, if you want to see something done, donate to the Kickstarter, even $1, make yourself heard and see if these projects, become something that is great. And if they get enough support, they can always make changes later. That's the great thing about programming, is you can always change code.
Exactly.
And so that's, I don't mean to disparage anybody's project, because I understand how much work it is, and everybody's got a dream, and you know what? If people support your dream, dang it, go for it. It's just a personal preference thing, and insofar as the final product as it stands right now. So.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of feedback, and it's a lot of trial and error. That's how you develop most games.
Yep.
And that's how they get great follow-ups like Portal 2. Like they listened to feedback from Portal 1, Valve listened to feedback. Oh my God, and they got Portal 2, the Half-Life series. They listened to feedback. Like a lot of these bigger games that people play, you wouldn't have the sequels, which are often better than the originals, like Borderlands. If people didn't pay and give feedback. So yeah, it's great.
It's also one of the most powerful parts of group funding, I find, is because you have the people interested in the game giving the feedback, rather than like a production company or like a label or something like that telling them, we don't think you should do this because it's not going to make as much money. That way, with group funding, you can be like, this game looks awesome, but if you add this in it, it might enhance it a little bit. So it's all up to you guys backing these.
I'm sorry for all the players in our chat. Hi! Yes, we talked about Grandma the Thief. I'm really excited about it.
Yes, yeah, completely.
I'm sorry, I had a minute.
Yep.
I was looking through Kickstarter and I found it, and I told Nick, and Nick's like, yeah, they're going to be on Average Giants. I'm like, yay! I'm really excited. Shut up, Savvy.
Yeah, is that on the schedule yet? I haven't looked at the Google Doc.
No. Manning, or Might Be Giant. The other guy, Might Be Giant, the other Nick, was telling me that he had been looking into it, and I think they had an email correspondence.
Okay, well, we'll chat. I mean, it's not hard. We'll get them on there.
Completely.
For sure. I think that is all we've got for today.
Yeah, thanks for the... we ran a little late there, but thanks for hanging out for the 90-minute webcast, guys.
Yay! It was exciting and wonderful. And thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you to the people who shared their own links in chat. We love seeing your project.
Yes.
That's what IGM is all about.
I do want to say one last thing for sure, because we were talking about this a little bit before. Some of the comments were talking about how developer feedback is important and all that, or feedback for developers. A lot of the stuff we're doing in the magazine now are game developer focused stories and editorials and stuff like that. So we have guest posts about any kind of development stories, from Kickstarter pitfalls to specialization to we're going to be doing some Unity reviews. So for game developers who are interested in that kind of stuff or have questions legal for our lawyer, we have Ryan Morrison doing a legal column. Any sort of game developer centric ideas, let us know, because we're listening and we're adding new content to the magazine all the time.
Yes. And I want to say that our channel, I know we've only been doing like 2 shows a week lately. However, we're going to be kicking off a whole bunch more content. So if you like the shows that you're seeing on here, guys, make sure to hit that follow button, because it means a whole heck of a lot to us. And we can't make the content if nobody's watching it.
Yeah, for sure. Did you see what I talked about for Tuesday? Do we want to talk about that yet? Or should we wait?
If you want to talk about it, I'm totally down for that. Give them a little teaser.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We covered an album review for the Not a Game collection this week. It's an album that's dedicated to it's not actual video game music. It's tracks that are inspired by video games, and it's primarily indie games, Fez, and all that kind of stuff. We're going to be streaming it on Tuesday, the full album. We haven't picked a time yet. We'll tweet it out, so stay tuned for that. But we're going to show off the album because the majority of the proceeds go to Child's Play, so it's a nice little charity thing. And the music's great, so if you want to come by, listen to fun music, be on the lookout for that tweet with the time.
Yes. Yeah, I kind of want the time for the shows for all of our stuff to be static, but we can talk about that after as well.
Yeah, good idea.
We'll try to make it in the evening.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around maybe 7 or 8 Eastern time. That way, that seems to be a decent time across the board because that's 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific, which is not ideal, but any later than that, and you start to have problems for people on the East Coast. So it's hard to find a time that everybody can get to, but we're gonna do our best to try to figure out a time that works for as many people as possible.
Yeah, for the music-based stuff, because I'd like to do a little more music. We might have a little bit of a radio-type show in the future. I would like to just play music throughout the day whenever we have time, so that won't be an issue as far as scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
But events, yeah, we want to try to have at night to get as many people who are free as possible to tune in.
Totally, guys. Okay, I think that should close it off for us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you for having us, Nick.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so again, hit that follow button, guys. We have Average Giants on tomorrow, and we've got showing off that soundtrack on Tuesday.
Yep.
Have our author Let's Play
we'll
on
tweeting it out.
Wednesday. We have a whole bunch of stuff coming up, so that's awesome.
A lot more
Yeah,
content
you guys.
for sure.
Yeah, please follow because we're going to be doing office gaming days. Like we're going to be playing the soundtracks, the Average Giants show. We've got so much stuff lined up, and we can't do it without you guys.
Yeah.
And your support means so much. It's like the feedback for the video games. We need your feedback for IGM, and part of that feedback is coming in and participating in chat, and sharing the information with other people. And we want to make this the best indie game community we can possibly make it, and that comes from you.
And only you guys can tell the rest of my coworkers to buy Hover so we can play it in our staff parties.
If someone buys that game for me, I will play it.
Okay.
If someone buys it for me, I'll play it. Yeah, Metal Demon asked if we were going to cover. I never know how to pronounce that. Is it Ludum Dare
Actually,
or Ludum Dare?
Metal. On this Thursday, I'm going to be doing just a guest play with one of our stream team members named Kino, and he just finished his Ludum Dare project yesterday. So I'll be grilling him for a couple of hours about that, and we'll have a good time in chat.
Yeah. I mean, news-wise, I have kept my eye on Ludum Dare, yes, so I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
And that's about as much as I can say right now.
No worries. Winter Nuke, where are we? We're from all over. I'm Canadian. I know a lot of us are American.
Yep.
Some
I'm
are
on the
UK.
East Coast.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Eastern
East Coast time. Usually when we post things, it'll be in Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's going to do it for us. Thank everybody for tuning in.
You call me American.
I
Thanks,
did,
guys.
You're a North American, so it counts. It counts.
Manifest destiny? No, anyway. Much love, everyone, and we will see you soon.